Fantastic. And if you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box. So down the bottom of your screen there is a chat box. Hopefully I'm going to be spotlighting the cameras onto Jocelyn when she's showing us something, and onto Catherine when she's showing us something as well. So you need to make sure you've got your view on gallery view, otherwise you might miss out on seeing close-up images, which are going to be more beneficial. So if you have any worries throughout, like I said, just pop a question in the chat box, and we may from time to time ask you questions just to sort of, make sure you're, comprehending and understanding everything that we're talking about. So sit back and strap in and be ready to watch Jocelyn make this wonderful San Choy Bau dish from her home. Over to you, Jocelyn.
Okay, I'm going to make San Choy Bau, and I have already selected it and put it under my wick. So I'm looking into cookie dough now and select my wick, and you can see that I've got San Choy Bau recipe in here already. I'll just have to click on it and then start cooking. So in this recipe, it requires actually 500 grams of pork loin. And that you want to do it.
Yeah, just think how do I you?
You're going to do 250 gram lot first. Now, what I have done is I have already pre-minced one lot. Okay, so this is how it is, and I'm going to show you the next. So this is how you do. I'm going to show you the next lot. So this first lot has already been minced earlier. And now I'm going to mince the next 250 grams of pork loin. Now, the tip to mincing is to actually partially freeze the meat before you mince it, so that it will chop it easy. It will come out like what you get from the store. So I'm putting it in and I'll tear it. So it's 250 grams. Close the lid. And then it says insert the measuring cup and the lid. And I'm going to use the turbo function, and it has already pre-selected to 2 seconds. So all you've got to do with cookie dough guided cooking is just select. Just turn on the selector and mince. So I've got to open up, and I'm going to show you what it has done. So it has actually minced, but I'm not happy with the consistency of this mince, so I'm actually going to do it again. And even with cookie dough guided cooking, you can actually override it and do a back arrow and mince another time. So, put it back. And I'll turn the dial again. Go next. And I want to show you what it's done. So now you can see it has minced to the consistency that I like. Okay. So I'm just going to scrape it down. Us to transfer into the bowl with the reserved pork mince and set aside. But I'm not going to take it out because the next one is they asked to put in the oil. So I'm just going to add the oil into the bowl without taking the mince out because I'm going to cook the mince with the oil. So I'm going to add this. Ask for sesame oil, 10 grams. Oops, more. Then ask for 10 grams of peanut oil. So you can just use any oil. I don't like peanut oil, but I'm using the rice bran oil. So, okay, just use 7 grams because earlier I already used like 13 grams of sesame oil. So I've already got my pork in there already, so I don't have to do this step. And then the next one is to say, place a splash guard onto the mixing bowl to prevent the splashing. Now, I'm using the high temp function of Thermomix, and is you have to do it with the guided cooking from Cookie Dough. So to use a high temperature of 160 degrees, you can't do manual cooking, and it has to be from guided cooking from Cookie Dough. All right, so this splash guard is to prevent your oil from splattering out. You see how this splash guard has got this plastic bit here, and it's actually covering the whole of a measuring cup hole. So that prevents the oil from splattering, and your kitchen is, won't be oily and messy. So I place the splash guard down, and it's going to cook for 7 seconds. And all you have to do is just turn it down. That's it. So with high temperature cooking, right, what it's doing is the plate doesn't move all the time. You stop, and then it helps to caramelize the meat, or it's also good for browning onions. Like I'm not sure whether you can hear it, but now the blade is not cooking. It's not moving. It's actually stopped. It has stopped. So it's just to get the caramelize of your meat. Okay, Kat, would you like to?
Sure. Yeah, we thought at this stage, while Jocelyn's meat is cooking, that I could give a quick introduction to Thermomix itself. And the Thermomix is the most advanced unit for the kitchen on the planet. And this model came out about 2 years ago. I always find it easier to describe what Thermomix can't do than what it can, because once it comes to work inside the kitchen, well, we can't deep fry or make popcorn in the Thermomix, yet we can do virtually everything else. It will grind and mill and grate and chop and blend and sear, which is what the caramelizing of the meat is that Jocelyn's doing at the moment. It will cook, it will knead. It is also a slow cooker, a rice cooker, an egg boiler. It makes sauce, and I haven't found a dessert yet that can't be made more easily and faster than in the Thermomix. So not only can it do all of these things, but the Thermomix delivers integrated recipe support, which is where we found the 2 recipes that we're making today. And Tess, towards the end of our session today, will give a screen share cook's tour of Cookie Dough, which rather than looking at my screen on the Thermomix, she'll open up the app or the website from her device and use the whole of the screen to give us a look around in a tour of Cookie Dough. Now, we wanted to present you up front early on in today's demo to the price or the cost of the Thermomix, which is nowhere near its value, which is so much more. Now, the cost of the Thermomix is $2,359. It is all inclusive, including access to our triple tested recipe library for 6 months after a first free 1 month trial. There is a phenomenal offer on at the moment, which we can talk some more about later, but there's a savings of almost $350 to take up the offer for something which expands the ease of use of our Thermomix by having a second bowl and blade set, which includes what you see here. So since I joined Thermomix many years back, we have added so much more functionality to the machine, but delightfully, we've only added 2 more accessories, which excuse me, they don't take up much space in the cupboard. These 2 items, this one is about to be superseded by a new design, which will also enable the Thermomix to peel potatoes, as well as give us a great result when we use our Thermomix for slow cooking and civic cooking. I see the countdown on Jocelyn's screen. She's got 10 seconds to go.
That's 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
I will hand back to you.
No, it's 3 minutes, Kath.
Oh, is it 3 minutes? Okay, so look, I'll talk a little about the other accessories. The basket is called for in the recipe that I'm going to be demonstrating later, but instead of using the basket, I will elect to show that we can use the Thermomix as a sous vide with this blade cover. So I'll be using that. This basket is multifunctional. It is so useful. It's great for poaching eggs in their shells. Absolutely phenomenal poached egg result when you poach them in their shells rather than cracking them open, as we do with conventional poached eggs into boiling water. Instead, we can do them virtually as a sous vide poached egg inside their shells, 62 or 70 degrees temperature. The basket's also great for cooking your rice and all of your other grains, and can be used for delicate things like meatballs or anything with bones. That said, we can put boned meat inside the Thermomix directly for cooking, and do. The basket can also be used for steaming things like veggies or anything else you may want to steam. It drops down inside the Thermomix. Thermomix also includes a whisk, which just sits on top of the blade. So when we use this, it's now in place. It's that easy to put a whisk into your Thermomix bowl, which is made of Solingen stainless steel.
Yeah. I'd just like to inform you that that's all. Just getting this. Thank you.
If you can find the
No,
mute
thanks.
button on your own Zoom account, that would be really good if you're not sure to or text.
375.
Thank you. So yes, so the butterfly whisk is for not only the obvious whipping of egg whites or eggs, making meringues and pavlovas and pandan cakes and macarons, etc. But it's also great for mashing potatoes and making ice creams and sorbets and some confectionery. So this is useful wherever we need to create volume. And as I say, that's it. It's now in place. It's that simple. Our bowl blade lid set, the blades do not fall out when we upend it, unlike a food processor. And when we want them out, it's just a matter of, as you may have noticed, I just twisted the base of my jug here to release the hold on the blades. Now, the blades will never need sharpening throughout their life. And what goes on inside your Thermomix is really dependent on the speed that those blades run at and how long we run them for, which is why we have got scientific control of our blades. I just take myself home. We have access to, well, almost 20 speeds on our Thermomix speed dial. And our recipes are written in terms of time and speed and temperature. Now, we also have, and there's more, your Thermomix works as a stupendous steamer, so you don't need to spend $300 on a standalone steamer. We put the steaming unit up top here as so, and we have almost 3.5 kilos of capacity here, 3.3 kilos. in the bowl. You can put a whole chook inside your varoma and steam it whilst also collecting a gorgeous stock. And we also can do desserts, veggies and fish, not all together, but making use of the tray. So it's a multi-tiered steamer, and there's the lid. So that's the potential to be able to cook 2 courses simultaneously, soup and main course, meat, veg, meat, fish, rice, sauce, etc. So that's your Thermomix in a nutshell, a very short snippet. Over to you, Jocelyn.
Yeah. Right. Machine has stopped caramelizing the first lot of 250 grams of meat and then asked to scrape down the sides and bottom of mixing bowl with spatula to loosen and release the caramelization. So I'm just going to show you what the machine has done. So let's cook. Can you see it? Yeah. So this is.
It started to brown off, hasn't it?
Oh, Jocelyn, I think you're frozen. Is she frozen for you, Kath?
Yes, she is, Tess. Yeah. I had this trouble with my internet. I went down for 6 days. My internet was out, and her other screen has come back. I can see, but the main screen
It's unstable. Can you? Is it okay?
No, you're frozen again.
So here's a tip, Jocelyn, if you can hear us. If anyone else at home is using the internet right now, if you can just shout out to them and tell them they have to turn off all their devices.
Yes,
or at
get
least,
off.
switch them to mobile. They're not allowed to use the Wi-Fi. Because Zoom is very draining of Wi-Fi bandwidth, and you're using Zoom twice with your 2 different cameras.
I think her second camera has cut out.
Okay.
Perhaps.
All right. Well, let's improvise, and I'll get started. I mean, it may seem a little confusing, but I think it might be best if I get started with mine.
I think, is mine okay now or not?
Yes, it is. Well,
it is. Okay, sorry, I'm not sure what happened. Yeah. So now I just add another 250 grams of my remaining reserve pork mince.
Jessie, you able to highlight?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Okay. So now again, you just asked to place the splash guard back.
Okay, so what's happened here is Jocelyn has added the other lot of meat. So there were 2 batches of mincemeat. And so she's fried off the first set of meat with the oil, and now she's added the second meat that was minced in the Thermomix, and that will go through a high heat element as well. So while that's happening, Tess, would you like to give us a quick run through of Cookie Do?
Sure.
Thank you.
No problem. Just give me 1 second. We're being challenged today.
Vagaries of it. Look, while you're setting up for that, I'm happy to get my dish going, if everyone's okay with that. I'm going to be doing a sous vide dish, caramelizing some bananas. Now, sous vide is a fancy word for water bath. Cooking your food inside, say, a vacuum pack bag or a sealed bag, and then submerging them in a water bath, which is at very low temperature for a longer period of time than if you were cooking it at higher temperatures. And the reason why sous vide has become popular is that the food does not toughen, and it retains all of the flavours sealed in, none leach away, and all of the vitamins are preserved because of the low temperature cooking. Texture is another aspect which is enhanced by sous vide cooking. So when we're talking prolonged periods of time, we can use our Thermomix in a sous vide mode for up to 12 hours, and we have precision temperature control to the degree. So we can choose a 62-degree sous vide cook for eggs, as I was saying just now. Now, the reason why you're going, as you will be allowed again now, to go into cafes and restaurants and choose from their breakfast menu 62-degree eggs is because at higher temperatures, the albumin or the egg white toughens and becomes rubbery. So I'm going to do bananas because they don't take as long as meat or fish. So first of all, we're going to be preparing the the flavouring for the bananas, which is a sugar and cinnamon. Now, this is a cinnamon quill. It looks like rolled up paper. If I hold it close for you to see, many rounds to it. And the recipe calls for white sugar. I prefer raw, just because it's slightly more flavoursome and has a few more nutrients. Aside from the fact that, yes, it is sugar. So in goes the cinnamon, and we're going to make cinnamon sugar. So we'll put, now this is a recipe in Cookie Doo, but I'm working upside down and back to front, so it's probably easier for me to just use the controls in manual mode to make this cinnamon sugar. So I'm just going to whack it up to speed 9 for about 20 seconds, 25 seconds, and then I will have my beautiful cinnamon sugar. Now, when you're shopping for cinnamon quills, I like to go to the Mediterranean shops or the bulk food shops, whole food stores, because you can buy them in bulk and they're so much cheaper than buying them in your supermarket. And you can also try purchasing cassia bark, which I had a sample of it here. It looks so similar to cinnamon, and I haven't explored if it's the same family, but it's a really thick single roll of the bark of the tree, which is cinnamon's also the bark of the tree. The flavour I find of cassia bark is slightly more intense than cinnamon, but I really like it. Okay, so here's a natty thing. It's called a jam funnel. You can get it from the mix shop. So it's not only for getting a jam or sauce into your jars, but it's also, I'm balancing it rather than it sitting inside. It's really good for just getting the ingredients into your jar. Now, here is the cinnamon sugar, icing sugar. I have made icing sugar in my Thermomix, and it's flavoured up and smells absolutely stunning. It smells, for some people, they'll think of this as Christmas almost because of that lovely cinnamon flavour. So we don't need all of this. You may have noticed I had about 40 grams, maybe 2-3 tablespoons of sugar. So I'm pouring it out into my jar where I keep cinnamon sugar so that I can use some of it for flavouring the bananas. Oh, I hear Jocelyn's machine. You're ready.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. Over to you.
Yeah, sure.
So now I finish sharing.
Yeah.
The 500.
Okay. Fine. Oh, he went to wash the car. But I'm home.
Excuse me, could everyone who is not presenting, everyone other than Kath and Jocelyn, could you kindly mute your screens? I'm going through and trying to mute them, but we can hear someone's conversation.
Can you see?
Can't hear you, Jocelyn.
I know, I'm just. Can you see me? Can you hear me now?
Can
Yes.
hear you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you see? Yeah. So now this is what I've done. Yeah. Just finished searing the 500 gram of pork mince. And I'm asked to loosen and release the caramelization.
And this just loosening it just helps the flavour to go back into the dish. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So do that. And the next is to transfer it into a thermal serving bowl. So I'm going to transfer.
So the purpose of that, somewhere where it's going to keep heat in the meat while you proceed with the next part of the dish.
Take it out and put it into the thermal serving bowl, and you can actually get this from the big shop. Yeah. Because this is a small half-a-liter bowl and it's double insulated. It keeps your food warm and cold for 2 hours, so it's very good. So let me transfer them down. Okay. So, and I'm just going to put this aside to be used later. And now, so this is how the bowl looks like after the meat has been caramelized twice. To do next, which is to put 3 garlics. So what I'm doing now is to put in all the aromatics, and then the machine will chop and then saute the aromatics. So it's asking for 3 garlic cloves, which I'm putting into the mixing bowl. And then it asks for 5 centimeter piece fresh ginger, peeled, cut, and into slices. So with garlic cooking, it's very easy. You just have to prepare all the ingredients and then follow the instruction. It asks for half to a teaspoon of dried chili flakes to taste. So I'm just going to put half a teaspoon only. And then 4 string onions or shallots, the white part, the white bit. And insert measuring cup. So now what it's doing is it's going to chop too fast at 3 seconds, speed 7. it's doing. So this is what it has done. It's chopped all the aromatics.
Would take me a lot longer than 3 seconds to chop all of those ingredients so beautifully.
I know, this is only 3 seconds.
Yes, and Cheryl has just asked, could we substitute pork for chicken?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes. In fact, I have made it with chicken and it's beautiful.
So you know what, with these ingredients, you can actually just chop, mince your meat, add all these aromatics without actually cooking them. And you can use it as a filling for your dumplings, your pot stickers. They make beautiful fillings. So now ask to add 100 grams of fresh shiitake mushroom or brown mushroom. I'm actually using the brown mushroom. You can use the dried Chinese mushroom as well. And if you don't have mushroom, you can even use chopped carrots, and it makes it really delicious too. Carrot. Next is then peanut oil. We ask for some sesame oil. Yeah. Keep that. Next, and insert the measuring cup.
Bridget has just said that it's lovely with turkey mince as well. Would be.
Yes. So now it's sauteed at 120 degrees for 2 minutes on reverse blade, so that it's not chopping, it's sauteing. You can see there's a reverse blade, and the machine just automatically does the function of reversing the blade, because the blade comes in one side sharp and the other side is blunt. But if you're doing manual cooking, you always have to remember to press the blade and on the reverse blade. Sauteing for 2 minutes. Now this means that I'm cooking. You not only can eat it as a San Choy Bau with your lettuce cup, you can also eat it with dried noodles and use it as a garnish, or even with your chicken broth or vegetable broth, and put in some noodles as well. So it's actually quite a versatile dish. And you can, instead of using pork mince, you can mix it with prawns as well, and that makes it really delicious too. And it's really aromatic. I can just smell the fragrance from the garlic and the ginger. Just got 40 seconds to go. So once this is done, I'm going to pour the seared the pork mince back into the mixing bowl. reserve means. Let me show you. Just want to show you what you've got here. See, it's not chopping, it's not mincing my mushroom. Instead, it has just sauteing it and using the reverse blade.
That looks beautiful. I can almost smell it, Jocelyn.
Really, smells divine.
Your lucky family tonight.
Yeah, that's why we're having this for dinner. Next is to place the splash down, because again it's going to sear the meat and the mushroom and everything again. So this time at 3 minutes. So back to you, Tess or Kat. 3 minutes of on high temperature searing of the meat again.
Beautiful. No worries. Where are you up to, Kath? Have you got something to show us, or will I go on to Cookie Do?
Well, I thought I'd just have a little bit of a chat about this machine versus the earlier models of Thermomix, that some of the people who were planning to be here today may have an earlier model. Now, your TM6 has introduced many new automated functions, and see, the benefit of what Jocelyn's cooking here today is that, look, sure, she may have, you know, a cooktop that she could put the meat on and manually, you know, chop all of those garlic and ginger and herbs when you use them and put them in a frying pan, but you can't leave your frying pan without burning things. So she's got these elements there of cooking where she can be off having a lovely glass of wine or whatever. The automation that comes about from your Thermomix while it's cooking is a big time saver. Now, there are even more time-saving features built into your Thermomix with this particular model. So versus earlier models, we not only have got much greater degree of precision with all of our measurements, so that we can measure weight to the gram, we can measure temperature to the degree, and we have a very much extended timer. So time, temperature and speed were features that were included in the earlier models, but we've got a lot greater control and finesse over each of these. Now, while I talk about blade speed, and I said we've got 20 speeds, that's for the purpose of recording our recipes where we describe blade speed 1 or speed 2 or speed 9.5, for instance. That said, it is a gearless machine. So there are no brushes and belts to wear out, and you absolutely cannot burn out the motor of your Thermomix. That was true of our earlier models. What comes new with this machine is the integrated recipe support that Tess will show you. And then we have on another screen here is the automated functions that come with Thermomix. Now, one of the automated functions, the high heat element, and all of these as required are accessed through the recipes, which we make use from the Cookie library and have step-by-step guidance. We alternatively can access this screen in a manual mode or just using the Thermomix as a tool, much as you may use a food processor or a saucepan or you know, what else? A frying pan. However, with these, we've got our temperature control, we've got our timer control, and we've got the amount of resistance. Go, Jocelyn.
Yeah. Okay. So now it has finished the third round of searing the meat. So again, it has to spread down the sides and bottom of mixing bowl with a spatula to release and loosen the caramelization. Oh. So I'll show you again. Can you see all this? It's all mixed. And it asks to put sugar, 3 grams of caster sugar, but like Kath, I like to use raw sugar too. It asks for 15 grams, but I'll only put about 10 grams, which I think is sufficient. And then 20 grams of soy sauce. Yeah, I think that's enough. And 35 grams of oyster sauce. Next, okay, ask for 15 grams of rice wine vinegar, but I replace it with the Chinese cooking wine or Chinese Shaoxing wine. So you can either use rice wine vinegar or the Chinese cooking wine, and I'm using the Chinese cooking wine.
Which of course you can get at any Asian grocery.
Yes.
Yeah, I use that
Great.
a lot.
You can also get this from Woolies.
Oh, really?
The local shop, yeah.
There you go. I've learned something new today.
There is a taste difference
And
between
then
them.
sea salt to taste, which I'm going to omit now. And if it is not salty enough, you can always add soy sauce later.
Mm.
And insert measuring cup. Now it's going to cook at 100 degrees at 1.5 minutes. This is just to mix all the sauces together, and again on reverse blade so that it doesn't chop your minced butter or even the mushroom. So we'll put it as speed 2. It's just stirring. So I find that using this machine is really good because like what Kat has mentioned, I can actually do it on the stove. But if it's on the stove, which means I'm having to stand in front of the stove cooking this. But with Thermomix, while it's cooking and while it's searing, I can wash up the dishes, and by the time this is ready, my kitchen is all clean and ready to serve. And I'm ready to serve this dish. And so another 52 seconds.
And if you didn't want to wash the dishes, you could pour yourself a glass of wine.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I think it's just about time that you can do that.
Yeah,
Nearly 5 o'clock.
right. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. This is
Well,
Thermomix. Your kitchen is really clean. Yeah, not oily, not messy, and it's just one machine.
And
it's
the best,
interesting.
sorry.
Oh, well, it was interesting for me when I first joined Thermomix. It was something introduced to me by my mother. And when I heard Aussies talking about stir fry, I just said, oh, for heaven's sakes, something that's going to make bread and cook rice. And now you tell me it's stir fries. I just don't think so. It's not going to be authentic. And then to find this has been so immensely popular amongst the Chinese and the Asian market. Even for their stir fries, it's it's phenomenal to think that you don't need a wok, and yet you can produce flavors that are
Comparable.
genuinely,
Yeah.
you know, so tasty, and yet we haven't created that oily residue, and we haven't sent our oils carcinogenic by overheating them, because we've got a device such as the Thermomix that can do that. Go, Joss.
Yeah. Okay. And now I finish with stirring it. So now is the transfer the cool serving bowl, and that's it. I'm ready to serve. So Tess, do you want to do cookie dough while I assemble the San Choy Bau?
Yeah, absolutely. Or Kathy, you ready to do your next step?
I do want to do my next step. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm putting these bananas on. Now, what I've done is I've already, I don't know whether any of you saw me, but in the background, I already put the blade cover in the Thermomix, much as I showed you how to put the butterfly in. I put the blade cover in. The blade cover is a unit that will mean that I can slow cook or sous vide and use the maximum volume without the contents above that blade cover coming in contact with the blades. And therefore get, you know, preservation of all the texture. Now, the sous vide, we're using a bag. So the idea here is put then some water, lots of water, and a little bit of ascorbic acid or lemon juice. So I squeezed in the juice of half a lemon, and get your thermi to temperature. So let's do a bit of that. I've put warm water in, so that won't take so long. But while that's warming, I'm going to prepare the bananas. So this is the thing that I essentially wanted to show you how to get them into a Ziploc bag. So I'm going to, look, you can finesse this. I did it yesterday with Cheryl, actually. And I'm just going to do it the real quick way. I've sliced this banana in half lengthwise, and now the bananas are going into these Ziploc bags. Here we go. They're just going in. So I'm going to do 4 bananas, 2 per bag. Oops, I didn't slice that in half. Here we go. Slice in half lengthwise. Now, when you're choosing your bags, what's important is that you go for one that's BPA free. Now, I found this brand. I think they can come from any supermarket like Woolies and Coles, the Greener brand. Now, what it says here is that they are BPA free and they are biodegradable. I don't know how long that would take, but apparently they break down when they're exposed to the environment, and they contain no PVC or plasticizers. So that must tick a few boxes, surely. So we get our bananas in here. We want to kind of lie them down side by side, certainly. And then we want to put some of that cinnamon sugar. Here we go. So we can put this bit cinnamon sugar. That's not going to fit.
Excuse me, Kath. Cheryl's just asked a great question. Why did you need to put in the lemon juice if it's not coming into contact with anything?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think it's just that Vorwerk are incredibly safety conscious. And my son, who's interested in these things, absolutely, I'm just putting a bit of honey because I like honey, right? Instead of so much sugar, putting a little bit of honey. And so Vorwerk have included that as a standard instruction, so that if you, they say to prevent rusting, which caused me great horror when I read that. What? Thermomix rust? This is the highest quality surgical stainless steel. How could it rust? And my son just says, yes, no matter what steel we're talking about, it can rust. It's just a question of how long it's in contact with water. So I think Vorwerk have said, you know, put it in, because maybe they're envisaging we would be doing this. Look, you can just do this is rum. It's an optional additive. And I'm rather fond of that little bottle of rum because, well, it's not so little, but that, oh, now this is what I wanted to show you. That bottle of rum I procured in Hawaii when I was taken there by Thermomix. So that's just one of the highlights of being a Thermomix consultant, is you get to go overseas. And I did this all sorts of learning and tutorials and information while we were in lots of lockdown. And one of it was, are women really better at multitasking than men? And this neurologist says that actually humans are not designed to multitask. They absolutely should not and are not good at it, and they don't do as well when they multitask. So I'm having a little giggle here at myself because I have broken the bananas. I've mashed them and rolled them while having a chat and recollecting my wonderful holiday I had with many other Thermomix consultants in Hawaii. So let me pay a little bit of attention to what I'm doing here. I'm opening the Ziploc bag. The bananas go in side by side. And we're going to slosh in a little bit of the cinnamon sugar, slosh in a little bit honey if we like honey, and then some rum if we like that, but not too much. And there was another thing we were supposed to do, and I'm just not going to get to it, which was to put in a little bit of coconut oil. And it's over there on the fire, nice and melted. You're meant to brush your bananas lengthwise with coconut oil. And, you know, you can do that when you actually got a genuine kitchen to be working in rather than a table scenario. So that's why the lemon juice goes in, or this ascorbic acid. I actually don't think it's needed for the amount of time any person is going to be using it in sous vide mode. I don't think we're ever going to see any rust on our Thermomix bowl because it is the highest quality stainless steel. And many people just leave their bowls in sinks or with water in them. So now here's what I was wanting to make some commentary about. This method, right, is without using a vacuum pack sealant thing, which is another device people may not want to have to buy. You can still use your Thermomix to sous vide. What I'm doing here, and I'm using a frying pan just for the purposes of being able to do it on the kitchen table. Hold the bag down, and we're squeezing all the air out. And just before the last bit of that Ziploc bag goes underneath the water, we seal it closed. Now, we've got virtually no air inside. And the benefit of having no air inside is that it sinks and it doesn't float. If you've got air bubbles, it's not going to be submerged. Okay, so I'm just pushing them down so that, because they weren't the perfect shape. And there we have us now set up ready to do the sous vide of, and I say next step, and there's all sorts of instructions here, right? But it's all written, and some people just are good visual learners. So having it shown to you like this may encourage you to think that, yeah, I will use my Thermomix in this mode. See, there was a bit of written instruction there. And now we've got the cooking of the bananas. And while that cooks in the background, I invite Tess now to give us a cook's tour of Cookie Do while I wash my hands of sticky bananas.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kath. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And hopefully you can all see the dish that Kath is making as we speak. The bananas with coconut cinnamon sauce. Could somebody just give me a thumbs up or jump off mute and say, yes, we can see it?
Yes, we can see it, Tess.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Appreciate that. Because sometimes my share screen does not always work as it should. All right, so we're going to go back to the front screen. And look, it even says, hello, Tess Murray. What would you like to cook today? So this is Cookie Do. It is our online recipe platform. There are over 75,000 recipes from all around the world on our recipe platform. So think how Netflix, you go to Netflix for movies, you would go to Apple Music for music, you go to Cookie Do for Thermomix recipes. Okay, so let's have a think about what we might like to make. Okay, you just type it in. If any of you have ever used taste.com, it's similar principle in that you can go and have a little look-see in your pantry when you get home late from work and have a think about what's in there. And you might have a can of tomatoes. Whoops. You might have some tuna, and you could have some pasta. And so we're going to search those 3 ingredients, and we've got 12 results found in the English language. So there are filters that you can change. If you speak Italian, you might like to put the Italian filter on as well. If you're fluent in French, which I am not, I'm happy to stick with the English languages. So we've got 12 results here. So you would look through and you would think, oh, that looks really simple and easy. You can click on it and you can have a look at the ingredients and think to yourself, yep, they're all pretty straightforward ingredients. You know, I haven't got olives or capers, but I don't think that's going to matter. And off you go and cook that today. So you would press cook today, and that will appear in your weekly planner. Now, another thing you could do is you might be planning ahead for tomorrow, and you know that you're not going to get to the shops between today and tomorrow. So you could go add, and you could go add to my week, and you can add it to tomorrow being the 8th. And there it will appear. We save it in your week. So this, my friends, is how you meal plan with Cookie Do. It is a game changer. So let's just hypothetically say we don't have all of those ingredients and we know we need to shop. So we can add the ingredients to the shopping list. But before I do that, I know I've already got a shopping list started. So we'll go to my week. So that's what we're cooking today. I've started a bit of a plan for the next week, but I want to clear my shopping list so I can start to do a shopping list. So I go clear all, and I might continue on. So I've got Monday covered, I've got Thursday covered. So I realized, oh, I forgot that I had put pumpkin and risotto cannelloni in there. I might move the tuna pasta to Tuesday night. So we can go move to another day and move it to Tuesday. So you can see my week starting to come together. Now I need something for Wednesday night. Does somebody want to throw something at me to search for? Either come off mute or you can throw it in the chat box. No?
Pies.
Pies.
Pie.
Okay. Thank you, Kath. Pies. Or pie might be better. Here we go. So it's categorized quiche as a pie. Yeah, that's some fairly odd recommendations there. You've sparked my interest though. I'm going to type in the pork pie. And this is one of our family's favorite recipes. It's like one big giant sausage roll, and it's the platted pork pie. So I'm thinking, yeah, we'll have that on Wednesday night. So we add it to my week, and voila, there we go. So now I can go to my week, and aside from today, I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday's always pizza night. So let's just say I wanted to shop for these 4 days in advance. I would just click on them and I'd go add to my shopping list. And I do that with all of them. And then you go show my shopping list, and you go through your shopping list and you take off what you know you've already got in your cupboard. Water is in your tap, so take it off. I don't need ricotta because I've got milk, and guess what? My Thermomix makes ricotta, so I'm going to take that off the list as well. Always got oil, and then you're just left with what you actually need to buy. And have a bit of a look-see at this beautiful button here called Order Ingredients. You click on that and it starts to create a Woolworths shopping cart. So you can go direct from Cookie Doo to Woolworths. They're integrated, and you can either order your shopping to be done for you and then just go and click and collect it. Some Woolworths supermarkets will actually load it into your car for you as well. You don't even have to get out of your car. How good's that? Or you can order it to be delivered to your home. So it's a game changer for those that are time poor. Really, really fantastic way to be organized. You unpack your shopping, you know you're sorted for the next 4 or 5 days, however long you decide to do it in advance. So very, very, very cool for people who are time poor but like to be organized. Another benefit of that is there's less wastage because you know you're going to use those ingredients throughout the week. You're not wasting food. I don't know about you, but my mum always taught me that when something's on special, you buy 2 of it. And yeah, that's not always a great idea. So Cookie Doo just helps you be that little bit more organized, and you know, it helps with things like wastage and less packaging, you know, like for example, I just told you I'm not going to buy the ricotta because I can make it so easily in my Thermomix. So that's a little bit of environmental save for from my household. But the beauty of Cookie Doo as well is that you can search, you know, you might decide you've got chicken. Just search chicken. And look at that, 1,013 recipes. Holy dooly. That's a lot of chicken recipes to fuss through. So you might then decide to narrow it down. You might just want chicken soups. You may want to make something that takes less than 15 minutes. You may want something that feeds 1 person or something that feeds 8 people. In which case, by doing that, we're going to narrow the search down a lot further. So now we've got 184 results. So that's a bit better than 1,000. And we might decide to add another filter, and that might be gluten-free. So for anyone who's got allergies, this can really, really help. Now we've got 39 results of gluten-free recipes that contain chicken. So when you look at your week, you want to make sure that you're getting a good representation of different nutrients. So here we've got vegetarian, there we've got tuna, pork, prawns. We're really getting a good cross section of foods in our diet. You probably add some vegetable sides as well, which can be done super duper easily. Does anyone have any questions? That's a very quick overview, and I am conscious of the time. So how are you going, Kath, with your dish?
You know, it says it's got 9 minutes to go, but I'm curious. I'm quite happy to stop it early and just have a look and see what they're like.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Why not? I mean, if we don't experiment like this, we just won't know, will we?
No.
So, and I'm cooking up double the volume. I think this said to do just 2 bananas because it's a small volume recipe. And I think when I was setting it up, I actually forgot to put the rum in one of the bags. However, here we go. We can just take out a little bit of this, and I'll do the taste test and let you know. Hey, how about that?
Sounds good. We will watch you.
It smells phenomenal. Let me tell you this. I actually, sitting over the top of it, I can smell the gorgeous cinnamon, I can smell the banana, and I can smell the rum, which I see. I about the rum bag, actually. So here I should have taken the strings off the bananas. Here we have just a morsel, like it's a bite, yeah? And what I think that's done well enough. And, you know, I think you might not even need to cut them in half, which is what I did today and yesterday. What I like about this dish is that you get that gorgeous flavour of your baked potato, you know, as
Baked potato.
we used to do over the coals when having a bonfire, or in your oven, you know, put chocolate in them. You could do that in here. But they go really mushy. And what I like is that at this lower temperature, 68 degrees Celsius, they actually don't go mushy. They remain that firmness, not firm as in raw, but firm as in they haven't gone so mushy that it feels like it's baby food. So I would say absolutely you could stop it early. I don't think it needs the extra 9 minutes. I did cook them yesterday with the extra 9 minutes and they were fine. But by all means, you know, like if I wanted to keep going with it, I just pop my lid back on. And this is true of any of our cooking with Thermomix, and we just turn the dial again and off it goes and starts continual cooking. I spoke a lot earlier when I was saying about some of the new features with this TM6. I would like to highlight that we have got many here where it takes out the guesswork of how long it's going to take to do certain things. You just set up, for instance, your kettle mode, the temperature. And when it gets to that right temperature, the heating element cuts out, it stops and it cools you. Same with sauce mode. In fact, you just decide, oh, that looks gorgeous, Jocelyn. What kind of sauce you're cooking, whether it's with egg or dairy or not. And when it senses it's thickened, it stops and cools you. We also have got a self-wash function, which has degrees of differentiation based on what it needs to wash off. And then you add a little bit of dishwashing liquid, like 1 drop, and some water, and it washes itself. So all you need to do is the final spruce with fresh water at the sink. We have got the kneading function. We also have new to TM6, a mode of boiling eggs, anywhere from soft boiled to hard boiled, with 5 degrees of differentiation. We've got a rice cooker mode, which can cook all different types of grains by the absorption method. We've also got a warming up function, which is fabulous for making sure that you don't, when you're warming your food, heat it to the point where you've destroyed all of your nutrients because you've overheated it and you've lost texture again with the reheating of your soups or whatever. We can make yogurt using fermentation mode. Just a final comment about presenting these bananas. We can put some flaked coconut, and we can top it with anything of your choice, be it double cream, be it coconut cream, or yogurt. So we have options. Adjust it to your taste. I'll serve the bananas out. I'd like to allow you to look, though, at what Jocelyn's done with their dish. Jocelyn?
Yeah. So this is what
Oh,
I have.
wow.
Yeah, I assembled it and I put my mince from what I've cooked earlier. You see this?
Yeah.
And okay. So I assembled it, and what I've added is some bean sprout and peanuts. So if you don't want crushed peanuts due to allergy, you can also put cashew nuts or even crispy shallots, which you can also use the high temperature mode on Thermomix. And I garnish it with this crispy shallots. So again, it gives you some crunch to it. So that's the crispy shallots that I made the other day.
Yum. Jocelyn, you are making me super hungry.
So Tess, you got to add this to your week for next week dinner as a starter. Yes.
Definitely. No, my husband, he's quite fussy. He usually says, I can't eat the same meal two nights in a row. He just can't do it. But when I first served up this dish, his exact words were, I could eat this every night of the
Every day.
week.
So do I. I'm the same. I can have this every day.
It's so tasty.
And it's refreshing. And then for
Mm.
cat, you can do a vegetarian San Choy Bau. You just replace the meat with your carrots, peas,
Mushrooms, yeah.
mushrooms. Yeah. So, and it's delicious.
Fantastic. And very low carb, like no carb, pretty much.
Your bean shoots, did you blanch them or you use them raw?
No, no. But for Julian, I have got to blanch it for him because he doesn't like the raw taste of it. But
Sure.
yeah, I like that. I just love the
I like
crunch.
I like the crunch too. It's a textural thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Fantastic.
So I'm just conscious of everyone's time. We've enjoyed our dishes. We wish really that we could meet with you in person to eat these together. Some of you will feel comfortable to do that, to have us back into your homes, perhaps with a guest or two, and you can host a demo in person, in life, and we'd be only too delighted to come to you and do that. It's what we love most. If you would prefer, we can still do our demos one-on-one or with guests. And if you should have guests coming along to a demo such as this, then even if they stay in their own homes and tune in on Zoom, then you will nevertheless qualify for the Thermomix host rewards, which are really awesome, very valuable items that you can get. So as far as getting a Thermomix, I just think it's an investment in your health, your time and energy, and the savings that you'll achieve by eating great food while at home will ensure that your Thermomix will pay for itself in very short order. And I knew when I got mine first 15 years ago that my Thermomix would see me out. Not that I intended to knock off anytime soon. I love that my Thermomix that I got back then is still in use every day, in addition to this one being used every day, just different family members or different things that we're doing with it. And I love now that with Cookie Do support, we could cook. I worked out, I'm a numbers girl, 3 new recipes every day of the week for the rest of our lives and still not ever have to repeat, even if you've got 80 years of life left right from now.
You're so funny, Cass.
Bring something new, right?
Yeah.
So Thermomix is so doable. It is the present you could give yourself or your entire family for Christmas, and all your shopping is done and dusted with just a few clicks and little numbers entered. You can purchase your Thermomix from your home and add $29 and get another $375 worth of value by having a second mixing jug.
We've never seen a deal like that before, have we, Kath?
No, we have not at all. So it's a goer.
Yeah.
So that's what's doable. Also making it very affordable at under $17 a week if you wanted to pay for it incrementally through a 36-month interest-free offer. So that's inclusive of administration fees and a sign-up fee if you don't already have an account with Zip Money. So it's doable. Thermomix like to make it achievable for whomever would want to get a Thermomix, and I hope that you would. And if you already have one and just need support, we're always here for you. Just reach out. On demand, we are.
Another thing I might just quickly mention, Kath, is that we have just partnered up with Afterpay. I'm not an expert on Afterpay, but I know a lot of people love that form of payment option. From what I understand, it means that you can make 4 payments. So once the first payment is made, your Thermomix is on its way to you, and they are spread 2 weeks apart. So Afterpay will grant you a limit of $2,500 so that you can actually put it onto Afterpay and spread those payments out. Now, apparently they don't charge for that. They only charge like wounded bulls if you are late with your payments. So apparently a lot of young people are using this method of payment. Yeah, as I said, I don't know much about it, but just putting it out there. So if you know anyone that would be interested in purchasing it on Afterpay, please yell out to any one of us. And yeah, we'll be able to help you. Okay, and of course the other way you can earn your Thermomix is to become a consultant. So these lovely girls are in my team. I've got a beautiful eclectic bunch of women in my team. Would love a man if there's any men on today. And yeah, we have a lot of fun. We support one another, as you've seen today. We love what we do. We love our Thermomix, and we would love for more people to join us. The more the merrier. So please, again, reach out if that is something that interests you. Well, thank you very much, ladies. Is there anything else we've neglected to inform them of, Kath?
No, I don't think so. But if anyone has any questions before we finish up, feel free to come off mute, open your mic, or type in quick text. Otherwise, we would very much like to thank you for your time and attention. We know it's precious to you, to anyone, really, and the greatest gift you can give anyone is your attention. So we thank you for that. And we hope that we may have inspired you to make something interesting if you already have a Thermomix, or even if not. So our well wishes to you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
See you next time.
Thank you very much.
For sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.